2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, the 21st of December, and it's the winter solstice. And a big happy birthday to Jane Fonda, Kiefer Sutherland, Emmanuel Macron, and Samuel L. Jackson. There were 91,743 new cases of COVID-19 yesterday, which included a further 8,044 diagnosed cases of the Omicron variant, but experts continue to warn that the true numbers are multiple times higher. The Queen's now cancelled her trip to Sandringham, and the New Year's Eve celebrations in Trafalgar Square is also cancelled. Boris called an emergency cabinet meeting at 2 p.m, which heard the latest scientific data and discussed the available options, but he emerged determined that there are no new restrictions planned at this stage.
We agreed that we should keep the data from now on under constant review. Unfortunately, I must say to people, we will have to reserve the possibility of taking further action to protect the public and to protect public health, to protect our NHS. And we won't hesitate to take that action.
And while he was sympathetic for businesses like theatres and restaurants who've seen bookings collapse, he had no new support to offer.
Nobody wanted things to go this way. Omicron has simply exploded so fast that we've seen people naturally deciding to make sure that they protect themselves and they avoid spreading the disease.
Labour's Shadow Health Secretary Wes Streeting is as mystified as the rest of us over why the government seem reluctant to move more rapidly in the face of the spread of Omicron.
I don't understand how it is the Cabinet's met for hours this afternoon and has reached no decisions at all. We know that restrictions are coming, so why isn't the Prime Minister being upfront with people? I can tell you why, because he's scared of his backbenchers. Yeah. His Cabinet have one eye on taking over from Boris Johnson, so they've got one eye on their backbenchers too.
Even as the Omicron variant gathers pace, Boris was still busy defending his latest social gathering as leaked to the media. This time it was the now famous Guardian Cheese and Wine Back Garden Party. Not a party at all, says Boris. In fact, he says work 7 times in the next 19 seconds.
Those were people at work talking about work.
So you were having a work meeting there without laptops, without any notes or paper. Do you normally have wine and cheese at a work meeting?
Those were people at work. Those were meetings of people at work talking about, this is where I live and it's where I work. Those were meetings of people at work talking about work. And
Deputy Prime Minister Dominic Out-of-Office Raab had also gotten the work memo, and he was happy to defend the event.
First of all, this was a workplace. They had a drink after what had been a gruelling day and weeks and period, and that was clear and consistent with the rules.
But Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer says it's pretty straightforward.
To suggest that is a work meeting is a bit of a stretch by anybody's analysis. So I think there are very serious questions to be answered, but just look at the photo and ask yourself, is that a work meeting going on or is that a social event? And I think the answer is pretty obvious.
It's a battle of the Joes at the moment in the United States, as Democrat Senator Joe Manchin has managed to bring Joe Biden's plan to build back better to a grinding halt. Despite meeting with the president and engaging in negotiations, Manchin went on to Fox News on Sunday and said he's going to vote no on the $2 trillion bill. Democrat Congresswoman AOC says it's gone exactly as she and other progressives predicted.
Of course, we have every right to be furious with Joe Manchin. And I think right now that Democratic leadership has a very large number of tools at their disposal, the president particularly, and it's really about time that, we take the kid gloves off and we start using them to govern for working families in this country.
Chile has a new president, Gabriel Boric. He's the youngest in the country's history at just 35 years of age and is pledged to unite the country. He's a Taylor Swift fan, his favourite album's Folklore apparently, and he was elected at the head of a progressive coalition, defeating right-wing rival Jose Antonio Cast. Bizarrely, Gabriel has a musical fan himself, as Pink Floyd's Roger Waters posted a celebratory toast to the new president from his own kitchen.
Here's to you, to the people of Chile, bravo, bravo. But it's not just to the people of Chile, it's to all the people of the world. This election was muy importante. It meant everything to all of us. Maybe we'll now survive.
Still to come on the Smart 7 is Happy New Year at Hogwarts, and David Baddiel has been trolled by his son. Right after this.
You're listening to The Smart 7. If you're enjoying it, you might also like the Smart 7 Ireland edition. Just search and follow us on your favourite podcast platform. The Omicron variant appears to be wreaking havoc on Premier League footballers as a host of games were cancelled due to outbreaks last weekend. There were 90 cases over the past week, and it turns out that 16% of players are unvaccinated. Now the Premier League's looking at creating a separate set of rules for unvaccinated players. England manager Gareth Southgate says he's in favour of vaccination.
We all have that responsibility to think of other people as well as ourselves in times like this.
Does that mean by getting vaccinated?
Well, I don't see another way out of the situation we're in.
David Baddiel's been a busy man even in lockdown. He's written a book called Jews Don't Count. He's also made a BBC show about trolls called Social Media, Anger and Us. He popped up on Seth Meyers' show in the States to talk about his book, which explores anti-Semitism. And he had a great story about getting trolled by his own son Ezra at the beach using a Bluetooth speaker.
I'm holding like swimming costumes and towels or whatever. It's really awkward. Then suddenly this speaker starts playing incredibly loudly this incredibly Jewish music, right? And I could see all the people in the car park look round and clearly think, oh, look, there's David Baddiel. I guess he must have to have music like that around him all the time. Any minute now, he'll be doing this, I imagine.
It's been 20 years since the bespectacled wizard Harry Potter wandered off platform 9 3/4 and into the nation's heart. And now all of the cast are reuniting for a 20th anniversary special on Sky on New Year's Day.
The thing that scared me the most was the implication that the most meaningful thing in our life was done. And there's something so joyous about seeing everyone.
When things get really dark and times are really hard, there's something about Harry Potter that makes life richer.
It's a strong bond that we'll always have. We're family, and we will always be part of each other's life.
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day.
Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.